Marilyn has decided that with all the other things that they're asking her to do, that she's going to have to give up something. And so for the last 2 years, I've assisted her as senior sponsor, co-senior sponsor, and I've been sponsoring training is what I've been, because the senior year is obviously a huge one, filled with lots of new adventures for all of us. And so I'm real excited that this class is the class where we kind of swap positions. She's going to be assisting me now, and I'll be the kid's senior sponsor. I love this class. I have felt close to this class ever since the first day that Matt came to school here back in 7th grade. As a matter of fact, since Gina's here, I'll tell a funny story. The other day, we were sitting with teachers and they were talking about their interview process, and I said, interview process? Mine was, can you please help? And then a week and a half later, can you please stay? So, but it's been a really cool time that I've been here. I'm finishing my 5th year here at the school. Most of you, I either coached your daughters in volleyball their 8th grade year, or sat in the stands with you while our sons played basketball together. So we have a good relationship, and I really love the kids in this class. It was my privilege to get to go on the 8th grade trip with them, which is a very special time. And so I feel very, very close to this class. And so I'm looking forward to getting to walk with them this last year.
I've been to the library. Were you too?
Yeah, we were locked out.
Yeah, we tried to lock everybody out, but they got in anyway.
Okay. We're a sneaky group.
So, like I said, I'm very excited about this class. Met with the officers the other day. Great group of kids. All of the kids in this class are really, really great. So it's going to be a great year. For some of you, you guys are experiencing your first graduation. Others of you are veterans. Raise your hand if this is your first. Yeah, so it looks like it's about half and half tonight. So there's lots to learn. For some of you guys, this is a refresher course. Graduation at Trinity can be a little different, or the senior year at Trinity honestly is very different than it is at other places. So there'll be a lot of different things if your other older kids haven't graduated from here. For some of you, this is just going to be like a little refresher course. But wanted to let you guys know that one of the reasons for tonight's meeting is so that you guys have a head start. We started looking at this, I actually think either a year ago or almost 2 years ago, we started looking at, boy, it would be really great if the kids that were fixing to be seniors, if the parents had a little bit more of a head start than just that August or September meeting. So we decided to give you guys 3 or 4 months bigger head start on this whole senior year thing. And that's why we decided to, hello Michelle. That's why we decided to have tonight's meeting. And for those of you that are wondering what this piece of equipment is, this is a automated cameraman. It follows this. This is a microphone. Actually, Marilyn's been using this in her class to record her lectures so that when kids miss, they can get that information. And we wanted to make sure and make this available to anybody that wasn't able to be here tonight, so that they would have the same benefit that you guys have, except for y'all get to see us in the flesh. So I've prepared some notes. Here's your copy.
Oh, goody.
Some of these were copied from her notes from last year. Others I've added in myself. But we wanted you guys to know that the entire staff at Trinity, not just us as sponsors, is dedicated to helping your kids finish well. One of my favorite things about the senior year is when Marilyn sits down with the kids their first day at school and says, welcome to your last 9 months of childhood. And as teachers and faculty here, we really do try to help your kids in this final 9 months of their schooling transition from most of them have started the transition from childhood, obviously, but try to help them finish because, you guys know I'm in the same boat that you are. Matt is, yeah. This is the first. This is my first time to do 2 in a row, and I'll do 2 in a row at the very end. But I do this. I'm a veteran at this, obviously. So, but some of the things that you guys can do this next year, and we'll have a class in September called Letting Go, and I highly recommend that you guys use that as some of your parenting class for next year.
The students really want you to come to that one. They want you to do the letting go thing.
And we go over some of the things. This last year it was a panel discussion. That's kind of just the things that people that have done successful launches of their kids have done to help let them go. But it's a weird dance that we're doing with our kids this last year, right? Because we're trying to go from you will to shouldn't you, and in some cases why didn't you, for all the things that they're doing. But some of the things that Marilyn, in all of her wisdom over 20-something years of being a senior sponsor,
Well,
every single
class but this year.
every class but this coming up year. This is it's a big transition for the school. But for some of the things that she listed out here that I want to pass along to you guys is that you guys should encourage good study habits with your kids. It gets harder and harder as the year goes on. See, I'm actually a really great example for you guys because I've got one right now who's got senioritis so bad he can't stand it, and then I've got one with y'all. So I'm going to have really fresh on my mind the things that. But what the other thing is that they're 2 different kids. Stacy and I were talking the other day. I hope Andy doesn't hear this. But we were talking the other day that we're so glad that it's Andy and then Matt rather than Matt and then Andy. Because Matt is very self-disciplined. He gets the job done. Andy is kind of we'll just see where the chips kind of fall. And so if that's your kid, then you may have a few extra challenges trying to get them to finish each of their assignments, especially if they're involved in sports. I got to tell you, spring is crazy around here. Just trying to have class with 4 different sports out that day and 2/3 of our class gone. So anyway, you guys try to do your best to encourage good study habits from your kids. Obviously, we're trying to build a foundation that will help make them successful in college. Another thing that she put on here was encourage them to sleep. There's lots of times when my kids wait till the last minute to get things done and then don't sleep very well. Y'all never did that when y'all were in school, I know, but the kids do that these days. So when I brought the senior leadership together the other day, I said, a lot of times when we'll ask the kids, what's the biggest need for your class, they'll say unity. But I said to them, I don't really think that's a huge thing for this class. You guys already seem fairly well bonded, and they agreed that this class enjoys spending time with each other. And so you guys need to really just encourage them to experience all the fun activities that are involved in senior year, and just have fun. The work can all come later as far as the real world. Have fun with these friends. Many of you guys have had your kids here for a really long time, and so they've built these relationships as they've gone. And so encourage them to have a really fun senior year. It's and I mentioned this dance that we've got going on with our kids. We just need to remember that we're in the process of letting go a little bit so that they can be self-dependent and be the one to get themselves up and be the one to get themselves their homework done, because for I guess most of you guys, a year from now your kids will be graduating and going off to college short months after that, and you'll only see them on weekends. So we're right in the middle of that at our house too. So it was really tough to have Manda leave. Just about the time they actually get to be fun to be around, they go off, right? So I mentioned that we have the fall parenting class called Letting Go. You guys will want to definitely come to that one. As a matter of fact, I think Marilyn offers points to the kids when parents show up to stuff.
Real sneaky.
But the other class that we'll have, we just had a few weeks ago, and it kind of helps you guys get ready for this last stretch. You know, baccalaureate and senior trip and senior tables and all that stuff. And while I'm talking about that, for those of you that raised your hand a few minutes ago that this is your first, I highly recommend that you come to either graduation or at least come over here for the reception. All these tables will be spread out just a little bit more than they are here, and senior memories will be placed on each table. There'll be a table for each kid. And if you've never seen this before, you need to see it in person. She has pictures she'll be happy to show you, but normally we say that in September when you can't come next week and see it. Well, 2 weeks. But anyway, you guys definitely need to come over and take a look at that.
Even if you come during the day that day, if you don't want to come that evening, come during the day of graduation and see this, and then you'd have a good idea of what you're doing the next year.
You'll start getting great ideas, and jot those things down. Oh, I want to make sure and put his baseball shirt on there, or a pair of shoes or his favorite bat, or just whatever. Just start making a list of the things, because when it gets right down to it at the very end, you're like, I can't think of anything, and then or afterwards you'll go, oh, I wish I would have put this out there. So,
Like a book of Shakespeare.
no one wants Shakespeare on their table. And so you'll get to, when you come, you get to see all these little trinkets out there. I remember a couple of years ago, my second youngest, Jack, was very excited about coming in. He's looking all around, and he came up to me and told me one boy had put childhood toys on his table. And Jack came and said, okay, Dad, I've decided I want this one and this one. So, what? And he thought it was a garage sale. Very disappointed to find out that those items were not for sale. But yeah, it's really a great time. And you guys, like I said, if you've never been, you need to make plans to come Thursday, May the 24th, 8:30ish. Or like she said, just if you don't want to be here to see all the people, come earlier that day and take a good look at that.
See the tables better if you come during
That's true, because there'll be lots of people here that night. At this point, I would like to turn this over to Marilyn for a few minutes to talk about the college and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to give this to you
Okey-dokey.
because it will record you better.
Yeah, the first time I used this, it's in my classroom. I put it on and ran around the classroom to watch it follow me. It was just fun. So, we're just going to talk for just a second about college prep. And the reason for that is your kiddos, the sooner they come up with what they think they're going to do, a little relief comes. There's something about the senior year. They've got kind of the same load they've always had, well, except for me. But there's this little black cloud following them around that says and people are always saying, where are you going to go to college? And what are you going to do? And they're 18, they don't have a clue. And so you've got the summer. This is a prime time to go and visit some colleges, get some ideas, send off for information, begin. I really highly recommend them take a SAT. I hope this spring, and then maybe another one in the fall. They've got to work on getting that score where they want for the purpose of scholarships. Scholarship money will be gone about next year in about January, February. And so if you haven't started working on it in September, you're too late. So and we do require kids all to take an SAT or an ACT for graduation. So we're going to have them ready whether they go straight into college or not. So that's kind of that's our feeling. Right off the bat, I will ask the kids to write a high school resume, and they'll need that for not only for colleges, but when they ask people for letters of recommendation, they can. This is something that they get on their computer. They just update and update and update, and then when they're trying to find a job, they've got it all put together. So I kind of help them get there by making it an assignment. I will probably also ask them to fill out a couple of college applications. They don't have to send them, but they do have to amass the material. They don't have a clue where their Social Security number is. And so they've got to go find that. And so if they get it all put together and they suddenly needed to do one quickly, like overnight, then they've already got it, all the material amassed. I recommend that you, if your kiddos are pretty sharp, they're going to have a number of choices, that you maybe keep